recording this session. So we are in Zipforms. We have a file's purchase file. We're purchasing a property. All right. We got a disclosures back. We got our TDS, transfer disclosure statement. We got the listing agent's AVID. And we got a buyer's agent AVID. And they're all separated there. See that? They're all separate, different pieces of paper. And I've got to put them into a tile in my accepted offer folder under disclosures, and there's the tile. It's much easier for me to review this if you can put these documents all together as one. And how to do that. Here's how you do it. You put a check mark in the transfer disclosure statement file. Then you put a check mark in the listing agent AVID. Then you put a check mark in the buyer's agent's AVID. Once you do that, then you click Save as a PDF. Now, you got it saved as a PDF. You have an option to save in the transaction, which is this transaction we're doing, as one single PDF. So it's going to take all three of those and put them together. Or you can save it onto your computer, on your device, as one single PDF, or you can save them as separate. But we want them all combined. So for this purpose of this training, we're going to save in the transaction as one single PDF, right? Now watch what happens. I'm going to hit save. It says added. And if you look right there, it says purchase combined. That's the one I just combined. Now, what did I combine? I can change the name of this so I remember right now. I'm in here. I've combined them. I'm going to click on the arrow. I'm going to go up to Edit Details. And I'm going to change this all together. And I'm going to put here TDS, BA, AVID, LA, AVID, or you can put SA, whichever you want. AVID, and type complete. Right? And hit save. And now it's going to change the name of that altogether for me. Right here. See it? TDS, buyer's AVID, listing agent's AVID. Now from here I can fill the placeholder, the tile holder. So I'm going to click on the arrow right here, the green arrow, and I'm going to hit fill a placeholder. With that I can go into the accepted offer. I can go into the disclosures. And I click on the placeholder, check mark there, scroll to the bottom, and hit go. And now it's going to take that document right off of this front page, and it's going to drop it into the accepted offer disclosures TDS folder. When I open that up, they're all together.
So you want that if you have on the slot AVAD?
Yes. Put them all together. Make my life and your life easy. So now, when I scroll through and review your file, I have got everything in one location. Right? Look at that. That's cool, right? Now, you have natural hazard disclosure. Let's go all the way back out of here, back to the main screen. I have saved a full NHD right here, which is the full NHD unsigned. Then you get your NHD signature pages, right? And we send those out, we get them all signed, and then they come back. But we have one section to upload the NHD and the signature pages. But these signature pages, if you look, we've got, this is the NHD signature page, the first one. The second one is your local option, your right to farm. All right. The third one is also the other right to farm that goes with the TDS. All right. Then you have the wood burning heater statement of compliance, which you must check mark a box. There must be a box checked. Either there is no fireplace, there is a non-compliance fireplace, there's an open hearth. Everybody knows what an open hearth is, right? Okay. You have a gas insert, you have a propane fireplace, or you have an electric one. There must be a box checked. You have to check it, Okay? So we get that done. And then down here, this one is for the California Energy, which it's that booklet that says energy, save energy, blah, blah, blah. I don't necessarily have a spot in the file for this, but once it's signed, just set it in there. Doesn't need to be in a tile. Put it in there, send it for review. Okay?
Just put it in with the NHD.
Yeah. Just put it in there. Just put it in there anywhere. It doesn't matter as long as it's in there. If buyer and seller sign something, it has to be in the contract. It has to be in your file. Then you have the earthquake risk. That is only completed if what?
If it's built prior to
1968, right? If it's not 1968, then don't have anybody sign that. Don't do anything with it. Okay? What I usually do is when I send it out for signature, I put a text box in here for myself. I make it for me to sign, and I put in there not applicable right across it. Okay? And now you have the residential safety guides. In the NHD, or in the file, I have a tile that says hazard report, right? This qualifies as that report because it's there, okay? It's already here. Here, residential environmental hazard booklet. It's right here. So this will justify for that tile placement, okay? So use that. Now, once it's signed, it's like, now what do I do with it, right? It's all signed. We're in escrow. We're getting ready to close. Buyer, seller have all signed it. And I need to take that first page, right, and put it with that NHD. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to open up my signatures, and let's just say they're all signed. And I'm going to split this. So you're going to go to split, rotate. First page. Add a split. You got to name the page. What is it? I can put NHD signature page because that is the page for the NHD. The other pages are pages for signature within the NHD, but it's not the NHD signature page. And that is page number 1. And I label it. Then I go to the next page. And I put, oh, that's my right to farm. So then I hit add split again. I go right to farm. And what page is that? Page 2 to page 3, because there's 2 pages now. Okay, to 3. Now that's going to split those 2 away. That's what's going to happen. Then I scroll down again. I hit add another split because I've got another split to do, which is what? My wood burning, right? So wood burning. And what page number is that? 4. See the page right there? Page number 4.
So you gotta go by that number and not
Not, yes.
Not the page number.
Right.
Actually, not the page number.
Right. You go by this page number. Then we go down and add another split because what do we have now? What is this? Our energy, right? So just label it energy because it's not required. But if the buyer and seller sign it, you must put it in your file. Okay? So energy form. Okay? And what number is that one? 5. And so I'm going to put 5. Then I'm going to scroll down again. And what do I have here? Add. I have earthquake. Safety. Okay, and what page number is that? And you go 6. And you just keep going down until you're done splitting what you need. You go down one more. And what's this one? This is my hazard report. And what number page is that? Page 7. So I hit 7. Okay, so now I've got them all separated here. Okay, and once I hit save, it's going to split them. And it's going to drop them back to the main section. Or if you want, if it's all signed like the hazard report, you can click on fill the placeholder for that one page. And you can go and find that hazard report and drop it in there. Environmental earthquake hazard report. Let's see, where is it at? Is that it? I always get confused. That one. See, and then you just click on it You hit OK, and now it'll drop that hazard report into that tile placement for me for that form, and I don't have to go back and do it again because I already did it. See? And it's all done. But if I hit save, everybody else is going to go to the first page, and they're all split out. See?
And then you can put them where you
And
want.
then I can put them where I want from here if I want. So I can go here and go earthquake safety. Okay, I can hit file, fill a placeholder, accepted offer, disclosure. Go find that right there. Click on the document. Scroll down, hit go. It's going to move it from there to there.
When would you use move instead of fill a placeholder?
When you don't have a tile placeholder. So like the energy form, there's no tile placement. So I would click on the blue box. I'd hit move. It's all signed. I'm going to hit accepted offer. It's a disclosure. And I'm just going to hit move. And not put it in a placeholder.
So it just moves it to that.
It moves
area.
it to that area I told it to go to.
And it just stays there.
It just stays there, see?
But it's not in the.
There you go.
In a tile.
Only the ones with tile placement, I put fill placement. Okay. Now, I've got my NHD page signed, and I have my full NHD. So in order to put those two together, I'm going to click on the signature page first. Why? Because that's going to be the first page that I see when I review it. So it keeps that in that order. It will put it together in that order. And then I'm going to click on the full NHD report. And I'm going to go up here to save as a PDF. I want to save in the transaction as a single PDF. And I'm going to click save. And now it's always going to be the last thing in that file. I'm going to rename it so I remember what it is. So I'm going to edit the detail. I'm going to get rid of all of this wordage, and I'm going to label this NHD signature page and full NHD. That way I know it's all there, and if you want, you can put signed or completed or whatever you want that helps you to remember that that document is done. Once it's done and it's ready to go, now I'm going to put it in the field placeholder. And how I'm going to do that, you have two ways of doing this. One is I can click here and hit fill placeholder, go to accepted offer, go to my disclosures, go to my full NHD and signature page, and hit go. It's going to take it from here and move it to there. And it's going to take a minute because it's so big. It's like 60 something pages. It'll take it a minute to get over there. So once it gets over there and you fill the placeholder, then go double check it's there. Make sure it looks good. And then you can send it for review. That one's taking a little bit, isn't it? There we go. Said there was an error, so let's see if it went.
I'm saying error too. I'm trying to open something.
Yeah, it said error, said it didn't go. So the other option here, it's a good thing we can show you a different way. If it didn't go in that way, you can go here, disclosures. You can literally go to the NHD tile placement right there, click on it, fill from within existing.
Okay.
And then what you have to do is go find that full NHD signature page. So you need to go all the way back out of and into your main folder and go find the full NHD signature right here. See, NHD signature page and full. Click on it and click go. Then it'll move it from there to here. See? And there it is. Now when I open it up and I review it, the first page should be that signature page that's all signed. And then the remainder of it is the full NHD in the order that it came in from the NHD company. And once it opens up, and then I'll show you next how to pull it out of that tile. Let's say it's, okay, I missed a signature. Now I got to put it in again, right? And it's missing a signature. So now I'm going to remove it to put the run in there that I need. But see, here's the whole NHD. But the signature page makes it super easy for me to review. Everything's there. You click the review button and send it on my way. But let's say Tammy says, oh, it's not okay. It's not approved. Missing signature. Okay? Oh, kissing signature. No, we're not kissing it. We're missing it. And I hit apply. And now that little squeegee's going to show up red, which says something's wrong. Right? All you have to do is hover over that little squeegee and click on it. And it'll show you what I said.
Oh,
Okay? So now you say, yeah, you also get an email. Now you go, okay, well, I got it fixed. I got to get this out of here so I can put the other one in. So all you could do is click on the arrow and unfill. And what it's going to do is take it out of there. As you see, it's not there anymore, right? It's all gone. And it took it back to where it belonged, where it was in the beginning. Okay? So it's gone. Now you can put the other one in there. Okay? And we're all good. You start over. Okay? So that's how you put it in and how you take it out. You got 2 ways of putting it in, right? And 2 ways of getting it out of there. Actually, there's 3 ways to put it in because when you split, you can put it in from there. Okay? Unfill. I showed you unfill. Now, you get it into the file. You send it for review. You have to click on the squeegee. You send review and apply. You guys don't see all these other boxes. All you see is the need review. I'm an administrator, and that's why I see it. This triggers me, and I'll show you how it triggers me. And that's why it's important. This is too wide. That's why it's important that things are put together, because if they're not put together, and here's one and here's one, and I'm dropping multiples into the tile, I only see one when it comes for review.
Yeah, I always wonder how, because I'm just like, that's so much work, and I didn't know how to get them.
Yeah, so
I thought by moving them in there, it automatically do that, but it didn't.
It doesn't. So here's my desktop in Zipforms, and it tells me I have 2 things to review. When I click on that, it tells me which the property is, who uploaded it for review, right, and what transaction. And all I do is click from here. I don't go to your file. I click from here, and I review it. So if it's in, if you have a TDS uploaded and then a separate seller's AVID and the buyer's AVID, I'm not going to see them.
You don't see it unless you actually clicked on them individually and said review?
Nope. I will not see them.
That way, you won't
I will not see them. As long because they're in that one tile placement, I will not see them.
I'm sorry.
So when I get a TDS and it doesn't have AVIDs attached, then I have to go into your file and look at each individual one. That's why it's a good idea to combine your file, combine the document, and then upload it. But look how clean it looks. It's super clean, right? And then all I have to do is hit approve. If something's missing, I can't approve it. Then I got to go find it, because a lot of times what happens is, yes, it gets uploaded in separate format. And when you do that, I can't review it from here.
Right.
I have to review it from the transaction. So that's
more time consuming.
Okay?
Sorry, I'll do better.
No, it's okay. You're not the only one. You're not the only one doing it. Okay? So hopefully other people will get it. I can show you. So let's, I've had agents do that. I mean, they take this and they'll go, okay, well, let's put this, because it's a purchase contract, right? So I'm going to fill file, and I'm going to go here. I'm going to go into the purchase document. I'm going to put this here because it is the purchase contract, but it's not all together. But once I do that, if I go to another one, right, and I want to fill a file,
You can't.
you can't see the purchase contract anymore
Yeah.
because it's been filled.
Then you have to
So-
drag it.
Yeah. So what you guys are doing is you're taking it and you're doing a move.
Yeah, or move or just
You're
drag it.
moving and you go to the accepted, you go to the purchase, and then you move it to here. Then once it gets here, you go into here again. It's down here, and you're going to take it and drag it up here and drop it in there, right?
I've
and
done
let it
that.
go.
I've done
Right?
this one time.
Yeah,
That's
and
all I
sometimes
could
it
do.
works and sometimes it doesn't. when
Right,
you
and
move.
it has little issues. Yeah, sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't.
And you
Yeah.
have to be careful you lose it in somewhere.
Right. It's like
Right.
somewhere else.
And it goes somewhere else, and you don't know where it went. Right? I get it. It does it. Zipforms has glitches. You cannot assume that it's all okay. So now I dropped 2 documents in there, and see, this is what it does.
Separate.
It doesn't have a place
Oh, that's right. It
to
doesn't.
give an approval.
Yeah.
So when you click here to send for approval,
Mhm.
for review,
You only get
I only get this one form. That's it. So that's why it's super important. And if you do this and you want to combine it, then it's got to be moved out. How do you move it out? This is important, so pay attention. It's super simple, but it's important. I've got 2 of these in here. I want to move them out. I want to combine them. So I have to do the move motion, but how do I get it back to my original file, right? This is what comes up. But this is the transaction. You click in the open out here in nowhere land, up here. Don't click on anything here, up here, and hit move. It's going to take it and move it back to the main screen. Okay? It takes it and puts it back into the main file. Then I got to go back out, and I'm going to go get that purchase contract out of there. Now that I did put in a tile placement, right? So now I've got to unfill my tile placement. Okay, and it's still within the purchase contract. Look at this. Purchase contract, it's still there. It's just not on the tile. So I got to move it out of here, back to the main file, which is up here.
Just move it over on the tile, huh?
No, you don't want, well, it's not together. Remember, it's separated. So if you're going to put it together, which would benefit me, because this agent sent me an RPA, accepted offer, separately with my wire fraud, my fair housing. He sent it all separate, right? And so I had to put it all together. So what I did is I brought the accepted RPA, and I went and got the fair housing, right? And then my my wire fraud, which was that one, okay. And then I combined them. So I saved as one PDF, single, within the transaction. I clicked save, and now it combined all of that. Okay, because you'll be surprised. You will get it like that. It does come that way. Now I have the full RPA and the wire fraud and the fair housing and everything all together in that document. Now I can put it in the tile placement. Okay? So it's just crazy. Sometimes you can do all these special things, but that's what you would really want to do. Okay, to save me a time and you time of
Right.
trying to find your stuff.
Yeah.
You keep your file nice and organized. Right? So then I would just take this now. It's all combined. I'm going to fill my placeholder. What placeholder am I filling? Accepted offer, purchase contract, the RPA. Go. Take it over there. Then I go back into my accepted offer folder, my purchase document folder, and there it is in the tile. Now I send for review and click here, send for a review, and hit apply. And now I get the little yellow squeegee. And then Tammy will go to her desktop and she opens it up and she goes, oh, okay, there's a purchase contract. All right. And it's from Elizabeth. And I'm going to look at it. I'm going to review it. I'm going to approve it if everything's there. I'm going to go da 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 da. All the signatures are there. Da da da. You want to know what gets missed the most? What initial gets missed the most?
Page 10 at the bottom of the contract, where the buyer is supposed to initial.
No, actually, this one, page 8,
Oh, with the
where you got
extras.
the mediation and arbitration
Yeah,
clauses.
yeah.
So double check your contracts when they come back and just verify that everybody that is supposed to initial has initial. Because if one person didn't initial in any location, you do not have an accepted offer. Okay? Any location. One initial or one signature, you don't have an accepted offer. Right? So, but you think you do. The other agent thinks you do, but you don't. Okay? So just double check it. Tammy says approved, and I hit apply. You get an email that says Tammy approved it, and you're all going, yes. I'm on my way to making money.
I know, you see that review and you're like, it's red.
Right?
Oh, no.
So I'm going to go back to our transaction for our training transaction, right? So let's see. We went over the one document, how to place them in the tile, how to unplace them in the tile, how to move them from here to there and back out, right? How to submit your file for review. Now the checklist. Checklist throws everybody off. So the checklist starts when you put in the close date or acceptance date, and that starts the acceptance. And I've created timeline. So the timeline here says the RPA should be uploaded and sent for approval within 3 days of acceptance. Okay? And it says required. So that means it is required. There is no exception. I must review it. Then the next one is your buyer inspection waiver form. That's a very important form, and here's why. If I'm a listing agent and I had a buyer and I'm in contract, the buyer came in, did inspections, and then canceled. I still have those inspections I have to give to any buyer, right? Because you have full disclosure. So I'm going to give it to another buyer. Now we got another buyer coming in. That buyer inspection waiver is for the buyer. That buyer. If that buyer did not do any inspections, then they're waiving their rights and they will initial in those locations, waiving that right if they're going to use the inspections from a previous buyer. But if they're going to do their own, then they just need to list the ones they did, sign an initial at the bottom, and we're good. Okay? But that should be done within 17 days. That's the time period for contingencies. Okay? So the times don't start until you click the button and you put it accepted offer. Okay? The minute you do that, then it starts our time frame and it gives us our dates. Okay? So when that RPA comes through, I've signed off on it. That's when you will mark this complete. See? You don't need to do anything else with it but that. You don't have to put in progress. You don't have to mess with this at all.
You don't have to do that?
You don't have to do any of that. All you got to do is put complete.
Okay, because I
Or
was like,
not
I did it
applicable.
on the tiles, and now I'm coming here and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you don't need to go back and
for-
forth. Don't worry about putting it in review. Don't worry about any of that. Just complete. Okay? Or not applicable. So
Right.
let's say I've got a couple in here for REO and short sale, right? So it's not an REO or a short sale, then mark it not applicable. Okay? That's it. Let's say, like I've done 2 this year that were FSBOs, right? So I'm not going to have the sold MLS sheet or the pending, right? So mark it not applicable if that's the case. If it's not needed, then it's just not applicable, okay? And that's the checklist. That's it. Just mark complete. Then what happens when I get your commission demand, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go into your accepted offer folder and I'm going to scan through to make sure your tiles are filled in. And if there's a tile missing, that saves me from having to look at each piece of paper again that I've already approved. I'm just looking for tiles that are empty. And going, well, did we have one of those? Did we need that? No, okay, then I don't want to worry about it. Then I know that all your documents are there. I'll sign your commission demand because I will not technically sign a commission demand and allow you to have your commission unless it's complete, right? That ensures it's complete. There should be several things that are not done. One, when I sign a commission amendment, the only thing, VP, right, usually isn't done yet, and none of the escrow paperwork is done yet. You don't have your general instructions, you don't have your FERPTA from the title company, you don't have the final closing statement certified. And make sure it's a certified closing statement. Because some of the title companies send you one, it has a stamp there, but nobody's certified it yet. No one's signed that little spot. It needs to be certified. Okay, that is the final. Okay? And then you put in your MLS sold sheets. Those would come after the fact, right? So before then, though, everything else should be done. Everything else should be completed. When that's all done, the property has closed escrow. Yay, we're going to get paid. You go all the way out to the main file. You click on the main file squeegee, and you hit send for review. Then that's my last review. Close the file out. You want to be able to see when you're closed and your file is closed that they're all green. That means they're all done. They've been signed off and we never have to look at them again. Okay? So when you do that, that's what you want to do. Then I sign it off and you're happy-go-lucky and you get to keep your stuff. Your money. Go get your money. Take it to the bank. It's all yours. Okay? So, that is our training for today. Now, I want to ask you guys, is there something you need me to show you?
Yes.
Okay, ask me. I'll show
So
you.
I have a question. So on the folders, okay, so on your tiles, so let's say on your tiles, so the only thing that you should have in the tiles, let's say disclosures, everything's there in a tile, and if there is something extra that doesn't apply to one of those tiles, you would still have something extra there. That is a disclosure, or no?
Yes, it's possible.
It's possible.
Could, yes, because as long as a buyer has signed a document,
Or buyer and seller. Right?
buyer and seller have signed a document, it would have to be in the file.
Okay.
No matter what. So let's say, good example is the other side of the transaction, the other agent on the other side, they may have an affiliate disclosure, right? That they have affiliates that your buyer would sign. But I don't have a tile placement for that, but that's okay. Then just put it in the disclosure section and send it for approval.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay?
Great.
Okay. So, has everybody seen in the new NHD the fire hardening form? You want to go over that real quick? Let's go over that real quick. Okay, let me open this NHD up. That fire hardening form has a spot to check that says not in a fire zone, or there's like 6 other boxes to check to state what type of fire zone you're in. That form is actually to be completed, by a seller, not by a buyer. Okay, I don't know if I have one with the. Let me see.
What it's called?
Fire hardening.
Hardening.
Hardening. And the NHD companies are putting it in their NHD. So here's one here. Now, property ID, I like property ID because they check mark the box for you if you're not in a fire zone area. So it makes it simpler for me. I don't have to go back to the listing agent, or if I am the listing agent, to make sure that the seller checks that box, right? So that box basically says it's not in a high severity fire zone, and that's it. Everybody sign it. We're happy, go lucky, let's go. But then you have these other 5 or 6 boxes down here that the seller technically is supposed to check mark. He's supposed to check mark what applies. So if you're up in the foothills showing homes or something in a high fire zone, this is going to need to be filled out by a seller. Okay? technically also there's supposed to be a fire hardening final inspection report. It says so right there under B. You see B, it says construction completion, home fire hardening final expensive, dispensable space. All these say that there's supposed to be an inspection. Supposedly it's supposed to be CAL FIRE that's supposed to do this, but I've spoken to fire people up in Calaveras and Ione, and they don't know what they're supposed to do yet.
That's what they said on that training. That
Yeah, and they don't, and I've talked to them since then. Okay? And I've talked to NHD companies, Property ID, JCP, and that new SNAP NHD reps, and they don't know how this is going to go about and who's going to inspect and sign off. But that needs to be dealt with, because then down here under the sellers 1 and 4 dwellings, it says the property is located within an area where local dispensable space and vegetation management ordinances require the owner of the property to provide documentation from a qualified agent authorized, okay, to provide this document stating the property complies with the civil code 4291, right? And then it says check only one of the following. Buyer agrees to obtain the defensible space compliance document pursuant to the local ordinance if the ordinance allows buyer to bring the property in compliance. Or seller shall provide buyer with the documentation stating that the property complies with the local defensible space and vegetation management ordinances, along with the information of the local agency from which the compliance was obtained. Nobody knows who's doing this. But technically we're supposed to check a box, right? So be very cautious, be very aware of this form and how it's being filled out. Yes, went into effect July 1st. Okay? So just make sure you're aware of it, okay? So that's the home fire hardening form. We did that. Okay. Any other questions, Elizabeth?
Okay, so on this page here with your folders.
Uh-huh. So this would be your main folder section page
Right.
Here. Folder, huh?
Your folders.
Uh-huh.
How should it look like at the very end? Should you just have your my archived, accepted, rejected, blank? How many are you only supposed to have those folders, or you shouldn't have any of these other pages that you have on here?
No, you may have these other things.
It's okay.
It's okay.
So
This
it
is
should
your
not be cleaned up.
No, this
Okay.
is this whole page, this whole front page here is just to drop everything in.
Okay.
Then from here you're going to organize it and get it into your accepted offer folder.
Right.
Okay? That's where the organization comes in.
Okay, so
Okay?
here it doesn't matter.
Here it doesn't matter. I don't care what's
Okay.
there. You can put
Okay.
everything under the sun in there.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, yeah, because I'm just like, I don't know.
This is all your working space. Put it that way. To work your documents.
Okay.
Okay? Your accepted offer folder
Yeah.
is the organizational part. That is where I want everything that's signed, completed.
Yeah.
Here it is.
So yeah, under accepted offer, we only have these 3 folders: escrow,
Right.
disclosures, purchase, and then P's. We're not going to have them
Right.
either, so
Right.
okay.
Let's say, though, you have a listing, right? And you go into contract, and this happens, and it falls out,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, okay.
You mark the listing back active. You don't put fell through because it's still your listing
Yeah.
and it's still active. So on a listing, it would be still active and you would
Right.
make it back active.
Make it back active, yes.
But then the documents that you had that were accepted,
Yeah, what happens?
that are in the accepted offer folder,
Oh, you move them to reject.
you would move them to the rejected folder, which has no tiles. It doesn't matter. Just what I do is I create a folder and I put Mr. Smith, because that was the buyer,
Oh, you can create a folder. Okay.
and I drop them all in there. Yeah, you can create your own folders.
Okay, so you create a folder into the
Yes.
canceled.
I hit add a folder, created my own folder, named it, and then drop it all in there. Okay?
Okay, so and then basically to take it out of all of the tiles, let's say you already had it into the tiles, is there a quick way to just undo everything or no?
There is no quick way. You have to do one document at a time. I wish there was.
Okay.
But you just have to go one at a time. You know.
When would
You can try it. I mean, it never hurts to experiment.
Yeah,
I've never done it.
tried.
Let's say we had all of these. Let me go back. I don't want to mess with this file. This is a good file. That's an actual listing. So let's go back into our training file. And let's say we want to reject the offer. Everything we have in here. Let's see what else we got in here. This is how you can do it. I check mark there. I'm going to go back to my disclosure folder. I'm going to pick up the disclosures I have in here already. Right? Let's see if this works. I've never done it. Let's try it. See the move button? Hit move. And rejected offer. Let's just say there's a folder in there or there isn't. And I hit move. Let's see if they all went away. But so did the tile. Did you see that? The tile's gone.
Now, when you fill the tile,
So that doesn't work real well, does it? So let's go back before we, get all confused and go in here. We need to move all of these back in so that I can pull them out of the tile. Because I removed the tiles when I.
Yeah. It went with it.
It went with it. See, it took it with it. So now I got to go get them, and I got to put them back.
Oh, in order to unfill it, you can't just unfill it from there. Try unfill.
Well, it's not in the right spot. Some of them aren't in the right spot, so I got to get them in the right spot. Okay, so yes, from here I can go unfill. So the first thing you would have to do is unfill it.
And then it goes back.
And then you can move it you can pick them all up at once. As long as you get them out of their tiles. Okay? So let's move them out of unfill our tile placements. Any of them that are in tile placements. Not all of them are, so let's see. And okay, that's out. Let's see, it's out. So I think I can go now. Once I've removed them out of the tiles, I can click on multiples and hit move and take it to rejected and hit move. And let's go to rejected. So they're in there. They've been rejected. And now I go back to my disclosures. Let's make sure my TDS tile stayed. See, I want to make sure my tiles are still there. There's my hazard, my home, and my TDS.
Now, I don't know, usually what I'm doing, I'm kind of like doing two things at once. Do the tiles move? It seems like sometimes when you fill one that it moves. Is that just me, or is it?
It does. It sometimes.
It does, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm just like, okay, either I'm just.
I think they do.
Or whatever.
Yeah, I think they do move inside there, depending on when you uploaded or what you did. If you unfill them and then you fill them again, they tend to move around.
Yeah, I think that's like one of the hardest things. Because
And I thought maybe
it should always be in that order,
but it doesn't. It moves it wherever.
I'm like, why isn't it in the same order all the time?
Well, here you can do alphabetical order.
Well,
see here, it says sort.
Sort.
You can hit sort and you can hit chronological, and then or you can put alphabetical, and it would put it in alphabetical. See?
Yeah, because
it's up to you.
I'm used to okay, this is the first tile that I see there, so I'm like, these are the tiles that are there.
Yeah, you have options.
Yeah, and then I'm like, they're moving, and I'm just like,
right.
Where the heck was it?
Right. No, you can put it in what order, most recent, what you worked on most recent, or the oldest, or you can put it in whatever order. Yeah. Okay.
And so then that's the other question is, how does this? So right now, the order that the tiles are in, that doesn't match the checklist order.
No.
And that's why I it's just easier if you have
The checklist, just get rid of the checklist.
Don't
Just
even think
use the tiles as your checklist.
Thank you.
I kind of do the checklist just as a checklist to make sure, like, okay, we got everything here. And that's where I was like, okay, like, I'm waiting for this agent's avid.
And
at
it keeps you
closing
on track,
day.
right?
And I'm like, okay, in progress, like, okay, I've asked. That kind of tells